Okay, so do we have all of our various search engines up? Have we started our search engines?
Let me turn the game off.
Yes, we have
Start
started
your search engine!
Oh my
Dad.
I remember the day when sitting around family dinner, when enough of the siblings were young adults or older teenagers, and multiples of us had internet-capable devices, we would do Google races
Google races.
to figure out who could find out something first.
Man, y'all were bored.
Yeah.
It could get heated,
I'm
especially
sure,
when Matthew got involved.
I was about to say, I'm sure it's mostly when Matthew was there.
We could do a modern equivalent is who can open Teams the fastest. Because this is so slow on my machine right now.
I already got it open. So.
Yeah, mine was already
win.
open.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, mine's open now, finally.
That's a good idea. I should probably open mine.
It's like this is a fresh install of Ubuntu, and it's still just like dragging.
Oh, so you're on the web version then. Okay.
It'll
Yeah.
open and then it'll need an update, and so it'll refresh again.
Luckily, web version, so no, but
Oh,
yes.
okay.
No, I have it installed on the local version on the Windows side of the machine. I'm just not booted into it because I have a bunch of research and stuff open on that side. I don't want to get affected. So
Of course, I don't understand the web apps that you use that then have to reload because there's a new version. It's rare, but I've run into a couple of them.
Yeah, because it's still a applet technically.
yeah,
kind
but
of.
it's more of the refreshing the session because if
Yeah,
you still have the old session token,
Yeah.
that's available.
that's true.
So it will have to refresh that if you have a an update that got pushed out.
Kind of like the freaking Microsoft Partner Center that refreshes on me like twice a day for some reason because it's like doesn't sign me out, but it's like it for just a second it doesn't recognize that I'm signed in, and then it refreshes like, oh wait, you're already signed in. Really annoying. Do have to do it every morning, and then at some point if I'm working in it like in the middle of the afternoon, it'll just randomly like yellow bar across the top, refresh the page, sign in page, goes right past it, and says, okay, here you go.
So is that when you first get into it in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That one makes sense.
No, it doesn't because
Yes,
none
it
of my
does.
other Microsoft apps ever do that.
They
Unless
probably
I
should.
make them.
They probably should.
No, because I have it set to keep me signed in. It's a Microsoft thing. They recommend it. Don't look at me.
They should still probably force a re-sign in every like.
I actually
10
can't.
hours or something.
I can force that. There's a policy I can force refresh your session.
No, it's fine.
I don't enforce it right now because we don't need to.
No.
No, we do not need another recession.
Oh, we're
Too
slipping
late.
that way. We're not getting political here, but
Yeah.
we're slipping that
Yeah.
way. Right now, it is definitely a market correction. But if things dip any further and investors pull out, we're going into a recession.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does that mean we're going to have affordable cars now?
No.
Dang.
Especially-
Why would car prices go down?
Because they need to go down.
I agree. I do.
I want a crap box that I can wrench on and do dumb things with.
Actually,
And I found you plenty of them. You just haven't pulled the trigger.
No, because it's still just a little.
man,
But it was a $700 Pontiac.
I
You could have got
found-
that.
about 10 minutes away from us, closer to town, I found 5 acres, 2,000 square foot house, 1,200 square foot insulated shop, and then another little outhouse thing for $660,000.
I need to make a little bit more.
That's
Yeah,
not.
for
I
that.
mean, realistically, that's not that bad.
No.
For the market we're currently
For the
in, it
market
still
we're in,
pisses
it's
me
not-
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be that much, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
relatively reasonable.
Yeah. And I was playing around with Zillow. According to Zillow, with
It's
an
a dangerous
80,000.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to the Zillow calculator, to be able to comfortably afford it, you need to have an $80,000 down payment and make $175,000 a year.
I meet neither of those requirements right now.
Hey, me neither.
Mhm.
On that depressing note,
mhm.
I think there's a button we need to press.
Do it!
Welcome to Hostility Morning. I'm your host, John, joined here today by
Nathan.
Ian.
Steven.
You threw me off, Steven, so I had to make it awkward just for you. You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Steven,
Yes.
I have a question for you.
What?
Why does a 2003 luxury vehicle have just as many, if not more, features than vehicles coming out in 2025?
That's
Before
simple.
you answer that question,
First of all,
I want to point out that every time John asks Steven a question, he stops, he pauses, he lets out a little breath, and then he starts.
oh, what I do?
No,
Or
John.
No.
yeah, wait.
It's my brain processing, prepping, and then ready to execute.
But
He's
you
prepping
only
for the
do it to
ridiculous
Steven.
yeah. Well, because he knows that I'm going to give some ridiculous answer. So
Yes,
he's
I'm
mentally preparing
usually
himself.
waiting for him to immediately interject as I start. He's been, now that I've kind of
I don't do that.
been crushing his soul, it's getting slightly better.
Trying.
Anyways.
trying.
You may
You
answer the
can't
question
crush
now.
something that's already crushed, sir.
You're not a diamond yet, so we got to keep going.
To answer your question, first of all, it's because they don't make them like they used to.
That's the truth.
What windows? Can you? Yes, I know. Oh my God. Go away. Snooze. Jesus Christ. Sorry. It just kept, it literally just started rotating you need to restart your computer like 15 times in a row. But yeah, no, they just don't make them like they used to.
Kind of like they don't make windows like they used to.
It's true. Physical or
Well,
digital?
yeah, no, because we have
Both.
multiple panes of glass now compared to before it was just a single pane.
You know what, though? I think some of those old single panes held heat better than some of these new double pane and triple pane ones.
I know mine don't.
I said some.
The old
I said
aluminum
some.
frame ones sure don't.
No, they don't.
Also, I would like to inject question mark luxury vehicle.
That was a luxury vehicle. Yes, it was.
Yes,
I mean,
that's
yeah.
technically a
Lincoln
luxury.
Town
Yes.
Cars, I'm pretty sure back
Yes.
in 2003, they were over 60
when
grand.
when you have models that are titled executive, signature, and things like that, that's a luxury vehicle.
Yeah,
sir.
but it's made by Ford. Ford's always been a little optimistic about their vehicles.
You're 100%, but Lincoln is that was their premium brand. That
True.
was for
But
all
this-
of those
But they didn't have Matthew McConaughey back then.
that you're right. They didn't.
They didn't have that little touch of
But if he'd sat in that car right now, I guarantee he'll say, "This is all right, all right, all right."
Yeah, no, I fully concur. I've sat in the seat. It is really comfy.
Yeah, it's like sitting on a Serta.
But to be
Awesome.
fair, besides infotainment centers and backup cameras, what new car technology has actually come out in the past 20 years to make a difference?
Fair point.
The only one that is, in my opinion, that's actually started making a difference is some of the autonomous features. But even then, they're not in great applications right now. Where do I see they're truly beneficial? No, they're one of those. It's a nice to have, but it's not a must have.
Well, and then each car company makes them so different. Like I've had, I've driven cars with lane sensing and lane keeping.
Mm-hmm.
I've driven a Ford F-150, a Chrysler Pacifica, Subaru Crosstrek, Nissan Rogue, and a Buick Enclave that have all had it, and each one of them feels completely and totally different. Like our old Subaru, I always had the thing off because it felt like it was trying to drive me into the other lane. Because if you got a little close to the line, it would literally just jerk over. It wasn't like a slight correction. It was a no, you're going to go here.
Yeah, that's always made me laugh a little bit. How aggressive the different brands are with that technology. Because that's one thing I will say of the ones I've driven, Ford's not quite as bad. It's a little more gentle. It's a little more suggestive. It does the vibrating steering wheel like when you're getting close, and then if all the features are turned on, when you touch the line, basically it gives you a little nudge.
Yeah,
a little polite.
And I was actually going to bring that because I drove my buddy's F-150 on the way back from going out to dinner the other night, and it was the first time I'd driven a Ford with it, and I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was polite. That was the word that I felt. It was polite. It was just like, hey, you're a little close. Let's get a little in.
The one thing that I did test, it was a little sketchy. I was not comfortable. Like I tested it for a few minutes, and then like, yep, nope, this is it.
Did you do the full hands off?
Yes.
Okay, so
it does work.
yes,
It's not supposed to, like
Yeah.
in that way, but
Mhm.
yeah, with the Ford specifically, if you do the lane where it like tries to stay in between the lines, if you go around the curve, it will keep you in the lane. Except it's like being in a pinball machine because it's constantly just it measures, it does the initial finds the line on the left, finds the line on the right, and then it's like, okay, cool, here's the middle. And then as you go around a curve, it constantly just it finds the outside line and brings you back.
Mhm.
Finds the outside line and brings you back. It's kind of like playing one of the old, it's like a driving game with a controller, where when you're coming around certain curves, you have to like constantly hit the thumbstick to do it right. Basically that in real life.
And that's where I appreciate Nissan, because they do have lane correction theirs, but it is just the steering wheel vibrate. But there's no other correction, at least from what I experience is. And why I appreciate them most is that was in a Nissan Altima, and they know their target demographic.
We're going to let you screw up, but we're going to let you know beforehand that you're about to do it. We're not going to change. We're not going to, we're not here to control you.
Exactly.
We're not going to tell you what to do, but we're going to suggest that you not do it.
I find that interesting because the what was it, like a 2018 Rogue that I drove that had it. It did correct it for you. It would also scream at you while it was doing it.
Yeah, this was a 2024 Altima. No, not at all. Because like again, when I was on the road
6
by
year
myself,
difference there, so.
no one around. I was like, all right, let's give it a shot, straight shot, see what it did. Went to the line, vibrate, went over the line. It just kept vibrating. Like, okay, and I made sure everything was on. Like that was it.
Wow.
Well, and that's the other weird thing is like, yeah, different manufacturers implement those types of features differently. What I also don't understand is like that was a 2024 Altima that had an infotainment system that had no navigation.
That's interesting.
Which, to be fair, it was more of a base model, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so that was probably just a feature that didn't have. But the fact that that's not a standard feature in 2024 is interesting.
Yeah, it's very odd because I mean, God, I can remember back in like the early to mid 2000s when that started really becoming a thing.
And that now that you mention it, that's how the CRV at work is, because the CRV is a 2022. It's a 21 or a 22.
Yeah.
And it has an infotainment center and does not have nav. It has backup camera, but doesn't have nav.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting that they haven't quite gotten around to making that standard thing. One of the things that I can't believe is still not standard in all vehicles. I'm fairly certain it's standard in most vehicles now, but I don't think it's all, is cruise control.
No.
Okay,
Adaptive cruise
I'd say
control.
what version of cruise control?
Cruise control, period.
Really?
No, there's still vehicles that don't have it.
Yes, there
what
are.
have you-
Very, 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 very
What have you
few.
driven?
Very
Like,
base
Are we talking
model,
like
very few.
Nissan Versas?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't driven any lately.
I
I mean,
Every car that I've looked at in the past 10 years has had cruise control.
I would
Yeah.
still imagine that, like, if you bought like a work truck model of any given domestic pickup, they don't have it.
The ones that we had over in the ag company that I worked for, I promise you, they were base models and they still had
still
cruise
had it?
control. Yeah.
I can tell you, people sure.
All right,
don't
so
use it.
Steven,
I know that.
so what I'm seeing so far in 2025, the only one at least that came up first in the search, is the Ram 1500 does not come standard with cruise control.
Yeah, we did not have Rams. We had
But
GMCs.
but again,
even
those
if it's
are
just
base
one,
models,
even if
yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
one, there are still vehicles in 2025 that do not come with cruise control standard.
Yeah, they
That-
do not come with
Which is
conventional
wild to me.
cruise control.
that is, yeah, I agree.
But of course, but instead offering adaptive cruise control as a feature in the package. But you get the adaptive, you don't get traditional cruise, which is
Okay, that
Like,
still
what's-
counts though.
Yeah.
Okay, but all right, that
but it's
still
also
counts.
but
as
it's also
cruise
kind of
control.
like because honestly, I'm still one of those people I don't like
But
adaptive.
obviously, if it has adaptive, then it's not going to have traditional. That should be a given.
I love adaptive cruise control.
Yeah, I
I
could do
love it.
without
It's
it.
I was gonna say
so
no.
great.
I like traditional.
The
You two change
Corolla,
things too
the
much.
Corolla I rented.
to like it.
Yeah.
Like I get why you guys
I like
don't like it.
tailgating people
Yeah.
too much.
No,
I
sh-
mean, no, whatever.
Yeah.
Huh?
Like I like having both because the Corolla had it, and like on the interstate, I love adaptive, but on
Yes,
the back
exactly.
roads, I don't. I want standard.
Yeah.
For interstate, adaptive is amazing.
Yeah, and that's the primary use that I have adaptive for, or like between us and town, we get on the highway, pretty much a mini interstate.
Yeah.
I'll use it there too. But anything,
But even if you're on a highway, like a state highway, it's 55 or 60 something miles an hour.
65.
One of those, adaptive cruise control can be really annoying because typically those roads are a little narrower, and narrow roads and adaptive cruise control don't mix.
I've
It's
only
gotten better, but
How so? I'm not. That's not
because it
been my
picks up the lines
experience.
too much.
Oh, okay. So that's not the adaptive cruise control I'm thinking of.
You're just thinking of the front sensor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
front
the,
sensor.
the,
Yeah.
the,
Okay.
so the radar sensor.
Yeah. So yeah, if
specifically.
you turn lane assist off, then that's
So
it's not
the
as bad.
car that I'm not going to say here, but the car that we've both driven that has it, I only have
CR-V?
I only have the
He's already talked about it on the show.
I already have the I keep the lane assist off.
Yeah.
But I keep the adaptive
Yeah,
cruise
yeah.
control on, and that is I've never had an issue with it.
I don't think. I think it has adaptive only, doesn't it? I don't think you can turn that off.
There's lane assist. Well, no, there
You
is.
can turn the lane.
I've turned lane assist off.
Yeah. But I think on the CRV specifically, you can't turn adaptive's all it has.
Probably. I've never.
You can
I've
adjust-
never tried.
You can
to turn
adjust the sensitivity of it,
Yeah.
but I don't think
Okay.
you can turn it off. And I say all of that. I bring up that topic because I looked this. I didn't know the exact year. I knew it was a while, but I didn't know it was this long ago. Cruise control, as we know it, traditional cruise control, as we know it, obviously not adaptive, was invented in the late 1940s
Makes sense.
by a blind man. I just thought that was a fun detail.
Go ahead. What's the blind man's name?
Ralph Teeter.
Nice.
Wonder if they called him Teeter Totter.
No, they're probably nicer back then.
I highly doubt.
I
that.
highly doubt that. Highly
But
doubt
anyway,
that.
but actually, so that was when it was first invented for automobiles. The actual first the first time it was found on a vehicle, the first time it was found on a car for an automobile was on a Wilson Pitcher car from 1901. But the first versions of cruise control were being worked on and implemented on steam engines in the 1700s. That was the first concept and principle of cruise control was
Because
implemented
that
on
makes sense. Because if you're for those applications, you do want to run them at specific RPMs and hold them at
Mhm.
specific RPMs for a certain amount of duration. So
But the first time,
Especially when you're going across the Great Plains.
yeah, the
Yeah.
other times I've looked into this, the earliest I've noticed, it was like more of truly an option on vehicles and like a standard option, if you will, on vehicles. I think was the 1970s. That was like when it, there was a lot. It was pretty common on
yeah.
higher end vehicles, like that was an option you could get. But yeah, no, cruise control as we know it has been around since the 40s, and yet in 2025, there's still at least a vehicle that doesn't come standard with cruise control.
Well, it's not a necessity, Steven. I mean, come on.
Everybody should use.
You
cruise
still
control.
have a
Changed
right
my mind.
foot because we're in, the freedom units over here. You still got a right
yeah.
foot. You can control the speed.
You
You're
can
fine.
turn it off, but it should be an option, and more people should use it. And I won't change my mind.
I'll tell you what more people shouldn't have. It's Jeep's new fun little thing where they have started giving people pop-up ads on their infotainment system.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
it was only a matter of time, but that's terrible.
There, I've got the article pulled up. Jeep owners are now seeing pop-up ads to purchase peace of mind from Flex Care Extended Car Premium plans.
Literally pop-up ads for your extended warranty.
Yes.
Of
Thanks,
course.
I hate it.
Right. The worst part about it, though, is that this, like, besides just being a pop-up ad on your freaking car, like, first of all, let's take a step back here. There are laws in place to keep you that are supposed to keep you off your phone, and there's supposed to be stuff on infotainment centers that are giving you or like make you take a break, like Spotify. If you start scrolling too much, it says let's take a pause and look at the road, stuff like that. Jeep has literally introduced an ad to create another distraction
It's
on
a
the
screen.
road,
Screens have to have advertisements,
right? But-
Obviously.
But going back to making it even worse, the ads are only supposed to pop up on vehicles with under 36,000 miles, but they're not. because the only vehicles under 36,000 miles are eligible for the extended warranty. But people with like 80,000 miles are C.
So what you're telling me is that this is not only inappropriate advertising, it's false advertising
Yes.
in certain cases.
Yes. Like, Jeep, you screwed up.
Thanks.
Well,
Or
is it
I guess
Stellantis?
it's
I
not
think it's
Jeep.
Stellantis.
It's
Yeah.
Fiat now.
Thanks.
Fiat owns them all.
Stellantis. Appreciate it.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. By the way, that's another thing. Chrysler, I found out after we bought our Pacifica, is now a minivan only company.
that is
It's
correct.
so
Yes,
funny.
that's been a thing for a little while.
No, up until 2024.
24.
Up until 2024, they were still making Chrysler 300s. But if you go onto their website now, the only thing that is listed is a Pacifica and a Voyager. Both minivans,
Wow.
both essentially the same minivan. Just you get it's basically, if you get the base model, it's a Voyager. If you get anything else, it's a Pacifica.
Jeep is owned by Stellantis,
Stellantis.
which was formed partially out of Fiat.
Oh, okay. So
Yes, but
we're still calling it Fiat.
but are we gonna get another minivan that has an SRT in it? That's what I want to know.
That's a fair question.
If this is my theory, Chrysler will, whenever they are ready to completely do away with the Pacifica models, because the Pacifica has not had an actual full update since 2017. The current body style that's sitting out there has not had a full refresh in 8 years.
Dang.
Oh, they're doing the Toyota thing.
Yeah. So my theory is that whenever they finally decide to do it, they're just gonna say bye Chrysler, move everything into Dodge, and either keep the Pacifica Voyager name or just start calling him what is it, Grand whatevers now.
Do they
Grand
not-
Caravans.
Grand Caravan, that's right.
Yeah, because they are still making those.
I can't believe, yeah, I just can't believe they ever got rid of the Town and Country name.
Yeah,
Apparently, it had
some
served
stigma or
its
something
purpose.
to us.
I
Yeah, because I know the stigma was like that's either a mom-mobile or that's a
it's a minivan.
Yeah,
minivan,
I know, or
it's the stigma. It's
or
not,
it was just for the elderly. It's like okay, and that's still a target demographic that all
And
buy
people bought
a
those
ton of
things
those.
religiously.
and there is enough of a demand for them that Kia has even come out, updated their whatever they used to call them. There weren't many of them on the road, but turned it into the Carnival, which is a slightly lower cost vehicle than the Pacifica with more luxury features, and they're selling like hotcakes.
Which the funny thing that I find is like these minivans are literally just becoming just driving movie theaters at this point. You just you have
Yeah.
a personal movie theater just wherever you sit, which is awesome for like road tripping. But what? Don't.
I have an idea.
Okay.
No, just no.
Go ahead.
I
Yeah.
have an idea. It
Go
may be
ahead.
cheaper than your idea.
Okay.
That's actually probably true.
If you get another house that you want to put a home theater in,
Oh no.
don't install a home theater. Just go buy one of these minivans and put it in the room.
That actually probably would be cheaper.
I mean, wait.
There's definitely an argument there for which one is going to be cheaper.
if he ever gets a date night, he can get an Odyssey. The Odysseys have these seats that slide like in and out.
There you go.
You can slide both of them together, and then there's the little screen that pops down from the middle. There
So
you
it
go.
has like a built-in love seat?
Yeah, basically.
That's pretty cool, actually.
I don't-
See? These are
These are ideas.
These are ideas. Could be yours for the low price.
of like what 80,000, 60,000.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Then you just
could-
buy the house, you knock a little hole in the wall temporarily, drive the minivan in there, park it, drain the fluids.
You can get an Odyssey that does everything I just said for like with 20,000 miles for under 30 grand.
Way less than your home theater.
Just rig up the necessary.
How much do you think I'm willing to spend on the home theater?
$80,000.
Yes.
Actually,
Okay, you're not that far off.
actually, the Pacifica out there is currently the most expensive one on the market. Not my specific trim, but the hybrid Pinnacle edition of it is the most expensive minivan on the market, or at least last time I looked. There have been new trims that have come out on other vehicles, so I'm not 100% on it anymore. But it was 56.
That's still
was-
pretty good.
I was about
for
to say, I'm honestly
Vehicle like that.
surprised they're making vehicles like that for
Mhm.
that price.
Yeah, the the one I have out there is a 2022 Touring L with the S appearance package. There's literally nothing sporty about it other than the term S, a few badging, and then instead of black and white interior, it's all black emblems, and black tires. That's all it is. But
Wow.
it's really, really stupid, but I find it funny. Anyways, mine would have been, if I had bought it new, 46.
Wow.
Okay. And I hate that I'm about to say, so that's almost reasonable.
Well, and then that's the plug-in hybrid version too.
Yeah.
If you just do the standard combustion engine, you could knock like $5,000 or $6,000 off of it. Get all the same stuff for about 40.
Can we also just appreciate that in, well, let's see,
It's 2025.
in roughly, let's say 1998
Mhm.
to the year 2000 ish,
Mhm.
you could buy, if I remember correctly, a Corvette Z06 was $50,000,
Inflation.
and that was a like the high end sports car, American sports car luxury price.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Luxury-ish.
if we want to be depressed by price,
So how much is a C8 Grand Sport?
so John, your car was a 2003 or 2003, right?
Yeah, that's an 03.
A
Okay,
C8
so
Grand Sport right now is about
the
70 or 80. The ZR1 is 110.
the range of John's car when it was brand new is ish 41 to 51,000 depending on trim. Currently, if in today's money, it would be 71 to 89.
That's depressing.
Yep, you're welcome.
You want to? What's even more depressing is my grandma got a car back in 1970. I want to say 3, and she bought it for $9,000. This was a top of the line Cougar, and I looked up what it would cost in today's money. It was over $100,000.
Oh my god.
Sounds about right.
See, we should have been buying those instead of being in our cribs.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Being in her cribs, my dad hadn't even hit puberty at that point.
Oh.
He's barely in kindergarten.
Yeah,
No,
I'm,
but,
I'm on the configurator, and just with the Corvette Stingray, so
Oh,
that's,
the Stingray's the lowest?
the lower model, with the 3LT pack. So the highest package on the lowest model, which is the Stingray, I'm already at 82,000. I haven't even got to the interior
That's
yet.
ridiculous.
I think they start at 55.
It started.
that-
I think it said 46,
Okay.
48, something like that.
I'll say, okay, now compare that with the Nissan Z then. Go with the more economical version potentially.
Okay, yeah, that's. Let's see. Do you want the suede microfiber wrap steering wheel
This is for the vet.
for the vet?
I feel like
they don't
you-
have Alcantara.
I feel like you have to simply
only
because
$700.
it's a vet.
Only 700.
Yes.
I'm missing out if I don't. Okay,
Yeah.
yes,
so we're good.
obviously.
Obviously, we want that.
Okay,
Yeah.
time out. It is $700 to add a steering wheel option.
800.
$800 to add a steering wheel option.
Yes.
That entire S appearance package that I described earlier was $1,600.
It's a steal. Wow. Okay. Hey, Chevy's giving you a deal. If you want the dark stealth crossed flag emblem, so basically it's the Corvette emblem that's on
Yes.
it, just the badge. If you
Yes.
want it to be dark, $125.
I mean, that's not terrible.
The
It's
mar-
a piece of plastic.
That's it. The margin on
It's
those is
metal.
insane.
The chrome exterior badge, $295. So apparently
Is
the
it- is
standard
it-
badge doesn't have a chrome exterior.
Is it actually chrome or is it?
It's chrome plating.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
always plating.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I was actually saying is it actually chrome with the plating, or is it a chrome paint?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll tell you one better. The visible carbon fiber intake trim. So the little
I'm
intake
sorry,
thing
it's-
on the front,
Yeah.
for it to be visible carbon fiber, $3,200.
I see so many of those too. I thought it was like a standard option for some of these.
The carbon fiber spoiler's $8,000.
think it's cheaper for me just to go ahead and make my own molds and just lay my own carbon fiber.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, not only that, but I mean, you're getting into the price point of you may as well just order the ZR1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes standard with all of that.
What the? What did I do?
Did you break GM's website?
No, he's on Nissan. He
I
literally
went to
Nissan.
Nissan.com and it goes to a page that says in loving memory of Uzi Nissan.
Wait, hang on. Did they really? Oh my god! Yes, they.
What is
they've
this?
literally changed their homepage.
Am I gonna have to hold on?
You have to go to nissanusa.com.
The Nissan US. Okay.
Oh, and of course, my DNS filtering is blocking it.
Wow. That okay.
Good job.
That's
There we go.
interesting. All right. Moving on.
Yeah, the Z.
R.I.P. Uzi Nissan. Apparently.
I don't think.
Does anybody know someone that actually has one of the Nissan Kicks?
No.
No.
I have
Hate
seen
those things.
one, maybe two, if I'm remembering right, out on the road. And personally, I would hate to have a speaker right behind my head in the headrest.
Yeah. No, that'd
Yeah.
be really annoying.
Oh,
I've sat on John's couch and had a speaker right behind my head while he's playing the big battle scene from Dune, and it's
it's amazing.
deafening.
See, that's different though. I expect it. It's there. It's fun. But when I'm driving, this goes back to the distractions that we talked about earlier. Let's say a new song comes on. You're randomizing your Spotify playlist, and you go from something pretty chill to some like hardcore metal or something. It just starts blaring right in your ear as you're going around a curve, and you're watching that other guy. You're like, is he doing what I think he's doing? And then all of a sudden it just freaks you out. You start swerving all over the road. I could 100% see a wreck happening because of something like that.
You want to know something so depressing? How the mighty has fallen.
Eh.
So on Nissan USA's website, you go to their sports car section. They only have two options now: the Nissan Z starting at $42,970,
And the GTR.
and the GTR at $121,090.
It starts at one. I didn't even see
Yeah.
that.
I'm so sad they no longer offer any S chassis. Like, and they should have brought back the Silvias. As soon as Toyota refreshed the
oh my god!
what?
The 2024 GTR Nismo is $221,000.
Yeah.
So I'm specking out a Nissan Z just for funsies.
Yeah. But
And all I've selected so far are the all-season floor mats. That's it. I haven't touched anything else. We're at $55,000.
Oh my God.
54.2.
I'm still saying Nissan, you
This
missed.
is the performance. This
Yeah.
is the middle trim.
Well, Nissan still missed the opportunity because Toyota brought back the Supra.
yeah.
Nissan needs to bring back the Silvia.
Yeah. No, but then technically it would be like the old days. It'd compete with the GTR.
But you have such a price gap between $42,000 and $121,000 for starting price. You can literally slap something in there at that 65-70 mark starting.
What if they brought back the
Okay.
Datsun?
I'm still looking at
They definitely won't bring back the Datsun.
I'm still looking at the GTR. Listen to these price jumps. The premium, this is the base level GTR. So, it's still a GTR. You had some nice stuff in it, but the premium starts at $121,900.
Yes.
So $121,090. The Skyline edition jumps that literally $10,000, $131,000. The T-Spec edition jumps it to $141,000. So another $10,000. And then the T-Spec Takumi edition, which honestly looks pretty cool, jumps to $151,000.
Wow.
Then you go to the Nismo, that is the next one, and it jumps $70,000. It's like
Because it
these
says
little
Nismo on the side of it.
Yeah, because it just like 70. Bro, sorry, I do really like Godzilla's, but if I'm spending $221,000 on a car, I'm not getting a GTR.
Yeah, right?
Wait. You can't get a manual transmission in the Z's anymore?
Why would they?
That's not
do
terribly
that?
surprising.
thought they had an older trim that you could.
Yeah, on the 370s.
No,
Future
no.
is now, old man.
I don't care. Yeah. Okay. No. So if you go up to the Nismo, you can't get a manual transmission. But if you go down to the lower trims, you can still get the old 6-speed manual.
For the GTR or
No, the Z.
The Z.
The Z. No, as far as I know, I mean I haven't looked, but if I remember correctly, you can't get the manual transmission in the GTRs
Because
anymore.
they want
Well-
you to buy the expensive sequential, little paddly transmission.
That's what I was gonna say. Does the Z Nismo actually have the paddle shifters?
I don't
So
know.
you still have control, or
I didn't get that far in the configurator.
because
He just
because
didn't
I
see
know
manual.
I
and
know
said,
that was
"Nope."
one of
Yeah,
the-
I didn't see manual because again that powertrain that's the first selection. I was like, I could have sworn you still could get a manual in these things.
Because that was one of the things with the C8 Vets whenever they first came out was there is no manual at all anymore. I think they did add it one year. I can't remember. Maybe it's still there. But when they first came out, I know there were no manual transmission, and people were doing tests of how good is the automatic actually, and they were doing that versus paddle shifter, and the automatic was faster in every situation. So it was interesting. It just gives you significantly less control over your car.
Yeah.
No, I'm not seeing paddle shifters as a. It comes standard with paddle shifters on the.
The
Nismo.
over there. Okay.
No, what I was looking at is like, what other customizations do you actually have on the interior for the technology side? Like, do you get like the extra like impact sensors, additional cameras? Like, I know like some of the vehicles out there now you have that optional 360 cam.
Mhm.
I'm like, honestly,
Oh,
that's sick.
The Pacifica has it.
That's sick.
Yeah.
They're
It's
so
it's a
cool.
little weird.
Yeah.
Because the camera on it has little like not quite checkered flag, but little like white and black stripes of
Yeah.
areas that they're like, you can technically see this, but we're not gonna let you because it's so distorted. But it's pretty cool. It definitely helps. Like I haven't driven a car that's that long on a regular basis in a long time, so it's definitely nice pulling into a parking lot and like straightening up.
Mhm.
So it definitely helps there.
Well, I was gonna say like at least one of the advancements that I've seen in I would say like the last 10, 15 years, dude, those blind spot not just the sensors but the cameras now, those are
Mhm.
sick. That like when someone actually pulls up in your blind spot, you get in either on your heads up or your infotainment, the camera actually pops up saying, "Hey, the car is right here."
Yeah, the Carnival that we test drove did have that, um, which is option for the cheaper choice of the Pacifica.
Yeah.
But the Pacifica, it's got a pretty good one too. If you put your signal on, it'll give you a little like nice beep if there's somebody over there.
Yeah, which is nice. Like stuff like that. The additional safety features that have been brought about have been really, really cool. I just wish it didn't come with the cost of repairability when you bring on things like that.
Oh, 100%. I am absolutely terrified that something in my hybrid system is going to go wrong. Because like we did opt for a extended warranty on it, so we're good until like 130,000 miles. But I'm terrified of what's going to happen after that if anything goes wrong, because it's not going to be cheap. Like I may just end up selling the car.
Hope that it's while you have a warranty,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to support any paranoia, but that is the reason why I was talking about my mom's old hybrid that she had.
Mm-hmm.
The reason she doesn't have it anymore is because it was the 2021. It was a 20 or a 21 Escape,
Mhm.
and it ended up having. So basically, what it did. So she was leaving one day to go to the store, and it started flashing. The screen started flashing red at her as she was going just down the gravel road that my parents live on, so not to the main road yet.
Mhm.
Saying, "Pull over now and just shut off the vehicle. Pull over now and shut off the vehicle." It's like,
Oh.
what in the world? I mean, it was still driving, it was still going. So she stopped, and she kind of, just naturally put it in park and turned it off. Went to turn it back on, and it said something about power fault, or it said it was some error, and it wouldn't turn on, and it also wouldn't go into gear. That was a problem later on. But had to have it towed, to the Ford dealer in the next town up, and their shop technicians worked on it diagnosed it for it was a week and a half to 2 weeks, along with a remotely connected engineer from Detroit.
Oh my God.
They took the car almost completely apart and finally found the issue, which was a certain section of the main power cable in the wiring harness that takes the power from the generator on the gas motor back to the battery that was going somewhere around the rear wheel well on the driver's side. It had it's in just the right spot where it was rubbing on something and rubbed through the insulation and shorted the wire and blew the breaker that sits between the battery and the generator. It's if I remember correctly, it's a 150 amp breaker, and it blew it. Like
That's fine.
not tripped it.
Yeah.
Burned it.
It's fine.
Yeah. And so to fix it, thankfully this was all under warranty. It was all covered under warranty. They had to completely replace the entire wiring harness in the whole car with a wiring harness from a 23 or a 20, like for the next year model up. And they had to work with the engineer in Detroit to reroute that section of the wiring harness through a different channel in the car body so that it wouldn't happen again.
Wow.
Not long after that, Ford issued a recall for that very model. Not for that problem. It was because there was there was 2 recalls for it. One was for something about the driver's door latch randomly coming open while you're driving. And
That's fine.
It's I mean, as long as you're going forward, the door just aerodynamics.
And if you're not, it's just extra air.
Yeah, like if you were going backwards really fast, it'd be kind of awkward. But yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're going backwards really fast, you can have the door open anyway, so you can see.
Well, so yeah. The other recall was I can't remember what the actual it was. I think it was an oiling issue or something, but it was a potential catastrophic failure of the gas motor. They put catastrophic in the description. That was their words.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Ford. I
So if you
fully expect this out of something
at this point.
that they did.
This was basically the beginning of like all the calamity that's going on right now with Ford and their recalls. This was basically the beginning of it. So for that reason, my mom has a Ford Edge gasser. It's the V6, just the gas engine Ford Edge, and she loves it. It's great. The interior is almost identical.
My parents had one of the first Edges, and those things were so funky looking.
They were.
They reminded me of almost like VW Bugs. If you just cut the wheel wells off, it made it a little skinnier.
Yeah. It was that weird kind of curvy shape. So yeah, your worry is valid.
Yeah. Now,
hopefully,
I do have some positives about it because Chrysler basically just straight up stole the design from Toyota, just like everyone else has at this point for a hybrid engine. The stupid thing that they did, and what truly worries me about it, is that they added extra fail points in there to make it different. They literally standard vehicle has one coolant system.
Sure.
Hybrid vehicles have one or two coolant systems, one for your standard coolant, one to keep your battery cool.
Yep.
And all that stuff.
I don't like where this is going.
This car out here has 3 of them.
Heck yeah. How many radiators?
1.
What?
So it's
what?
It's a multi-port, or what's known as a multi-channel radiator, where it's multiple cores or segmented cores that they're just each individual systems.
Yeah. It's still it's like, what the heck? It's like let's take one of the biggest fail points on any car ever and put 3 of them in there. God.
Yeah, that's gonna be the worst.
Cool.
Like if you have to put, that's gotta be the worst thing ever to refill and bleed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm never working on this car myself.
Oh gosh,
no.
Like, and because that's the one thing. Like, I understand as technology advanced, like things are gonna get more complex. But the one thing I really despise is like if you don't have a fundamental understanding of how a computer works and operates and how sensors integrate into those computers, you can't work on a modern car.
No, I 100% agree. There are two more things. One of them good, one of them bad. Just from actually two bad. From that I've thought about. We'll start with this one. Plastic oil filter, plastic screw, like screw point. It's not metal on plastic. Both points are plastic.
Oh, the threads on the engine where the oil filter goes is plastic?
Yeah. Tell me how that makes sense.
Does it have a plastic oil pan? Is it built onto the oil pan?
I do not know that.
Because I know that's a thing. A lot of vehicles
Yes,
now
a
are
lot of
coming
them.
with polymer oil pans. Still, but the filter is made out of plastic.
The filter's made out of plastic.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
Well, that's kind of been a standard thing for a while. Like, I've even Toyota's been doing it because they got rid of their mostly got rid of their screw-on filters, and now it's a plastic filter housing that you then put a paper filter inside of, and they have a plastic polymer-based one and a metal-based one that you can interchange. And
What
choose
is it
one.
like clamp on?
No, so it's still a spin-on style, but when you take the cartridge out, you have the paper filter that sits in it, and then the main tube that the oil feeds through the center back out. When you spin it on, then there's also a plug at the very bottom that you can hook up your 3/8 ratchet on, take that out, and there's an adapter that will actually let you drain all the oil out of the filter itself.
interesting.
But it's a standard housing that you now keep, that the only thing that you change out is the paper filter on the inside. So it is technically less waste, but it's one of those parts that if you over tighten it, or if the gasket like expands, as gaskets sometimes tend to do, and you have to really put torque on it, it breaks.
Yeah. See, that's part of my worry with this filter. The other part is just it's plastic. It's gonna wear.
Yeah.
Well, when is my oil filter just gonna suddenly pop off my engine? You know, it's like that
at a completely random time that will be very inconvenient for you.
So we'll go with the next bad part. It has 4 timing belts on it on the engine.
Oh God, what?
Is it dual overhead cam on both sides? Like, actually, hold on. What engine does it have in it?
It's a V6. Well,
How does it have 4 timing belts?
Wait, it's a plug-in hybrid that has a V6?
So
I believe so. I have to double check that.
Is it dual overhead cam on each side that each has its own driving belt?
Each one has a belt. It's got another vertical belt down to the shaft.
Yeah.
And then, but in between the vertical belt and the V's is another one. It's just another belt.
Is it driving an accessory, or is it like, because it won't have a mechanical? No, because it's obviously electric fuel injected, so it wouldn't be like a mechanical pump. So I don't know what else it would be driving off that.
Are they belts or are they chains?
They're chains.
They're chains.
Oh, they're
okay.
chains.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, it's still that's a small minor detail. Because like I've seen designs with 3. I've seen it where you have the central chain that goes from the crank to a central pulley, and then or a central sprocket, and then the 2 chains that go up to the heads come off of that. It's a Y shape.
Yeah.
4 doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know.
Unless they're for some reason doubling up the central chain.
No.
For whatever reason.
I don't know the full explanation for it. I just know.
What if it drives the oil pump?
I watched.
Well, that's what I was wondering. But usually you drive the oil pump like off the
direct off the crank.
Yeah.
Like with gears.
Yeah.
It could be dumb.
I just watched a mechanic go through like a full breakdown of the vehicle, and he's like, "Hey, look, 4 chains." I hate it. In all honesty, it is what it is. Whatever. But it's just
more stuff to go wrong.
It's the introduction of another fail point.
Yes.
That is not needed. It's just like, guys, what are you doing?
And that's where
because
it's like,
again, my truck has a dual overhead cam motor, has a Coyote, which runs off of timing chains. It has 2.
Well, and that's why it's like what I'm looking for in my next vehicle is I'm trying to go mechanically, old. Like, it's a really old design. It's very simple, not a lot of overhead on it. And like when it comes to reliability of an engine, is you want an engine that is unstrained. Like, it's not going to be the highest horsepower out there, but it's just going to work itself. And that's where it's like I'm looking at 4Runners right now because they still have an engine that was designed in 2003 with a transmission that was designed in 2003, suspension from 2003, all of this same like everything
Man, you really
in
like
it.
that 2003 year.
It's hilariously, I know it all kind of just it works out that way. But no, it's one of those like that design is over 20 years old and it just works. It's very simple. It's very easy. And when I want to purchase the next vehicle, I want to know when it does break, because it's going to break. This isn't going to be a immediately dump it and move on to something else. You can maintain this vehicle for a long period of time. That's what I care more.
You know what he's going to do with it?
What's he gonna do with
He's going to turn it into the next Blazer.
it?
Very true.
He's gonna turn it into the next Blazer, or it's just gonna end up like the Blazer.
No, or keep it nicer.
I mean,
Ish.
this is a newer one. He's going to buy it at least close to new, if not new. So probably
As
turn
long
it
as it
into-
doesn't feel, as long as when he makes a left-hand turn, it doesn't feel like the passenger side shocks are gonna collapse on themselves, then it'll be an improvement over the Blazer.
That's because I should have replaced those, but I put the money, I was dealing with a really bad clogged up catalytic converter at the time, and if you didn't know, those were really expensive. And why it didn't,
I've heard you get a lot of money for
yeah,
them.
and why it didn't,
I mean,
run,
pay a lot of money.
it didn't run right because I had to take the pre-cat O2 sensor out of it so it could breathe.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that thing was a mess.
I still have my positive for the.
Oh,
the
yeah. Okay,
Pacifica.
we haven't done the
Yeah, so
positive.
the positive. And
It has 3 rows.
This does well. There's that, and the third one folds down, and you can remove the second one. For most Pacificas, they've got this fancy stow and go seating. You can just literally just folds into the bottom, but because the battery into the hybrid is there, you just have to take.
That's fair.
That's not the point though. Point is, outside of those of us in here who were taught well about how a battery operates and how if you need to jump somebody or get jumped, how to do it.
Sure.
The one out that vehicle out there is very, very clearly labeled. You cannot even, or it's got a plastic cover over the battery with a very clear red for your positive. It's got a cover on it, and then there is no attachment for your negative side. There is a.
It's just a grounding bolt.
It's not even a grounding bolt. There is a piece of metal built into the frame that has an indention of a.
I love
Oh,
this.
so it's
Just-
very
just an
obvious.
alligator clamp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
clamp.
dummy-proof.
Thank you.
I love
Yeah,
this so much.
Right. It's
Every car should do this.
It-
Okay, forget every car having cruise control. Every car needs to have the dummy plate for where you plug in the negative connector. I want that on every car. That should be required for every vehicle.
and that's why I'm saying it's a positive, because people screw this up so many times and literally destroy their battery because they get something crossed, they put something on the wrong spot. This
Well,
one,
if the cables spark, that's how you know they work.
yeah. Anyways, like if you mess this up, you're just an idiot. You are like you literally can't put. I guess you
Or-
can put the negative side on something else, but
No, for a car like that, no, that is an extremely good feature because that's a whole thing with hybrid period. Doesn't matter what the hybrid, but hybrid vehicles in general, because their electronics are so much more sophisticated than a standard, gas burner motor. If you hooked jumper cables to the wrong side of the electronics, you're going to blow up the other person's battery, fry your cables, and probably screw up your electrical system all at the same time.
help you have good insurance.
Yeah, for real.
And not to mention the lovely potential of a lithium-ion battery fire.
Oh,
Minor details. No, I don't think. I mean, in that case, like in that specific scenario, I don't think you're going to. You're not going to cause that kind of damage to the battery on the hybrid, to the lithium battery, because again, it has safeguards in between. If there was a back surge for whatever reason, there's a breaker there that's going to catch it and trip. But also, you're going from very high amperage to much lower amperage on the 12-volt side, and very high voltage to very low voltage on the other side. So the oomph, the boom is going to go that way, is going to go to the 12-volt side. It's not going to come back the other way.
oh, I just remembered this. There are 2 batteries on that vehicle, like two
That makes
standard
sense, yeah.
two
Yeah,
standard batteries.
That is normal.
that I'm not used to. Just because I've been
no,
having.
you're saying there's the hybrid there's the big lithium battery.
No.
But then there's
No.
two lead
No,
acids.
Yes.
Oh,
there's,
okay.
Yeah,
there's-
there's one that it usually drives the main engine, and then there's one for accessories now.
They have a separate accessory.
Yes.
But okay.
Yeah, and
I
it's
mean,
in the
that's
back,
probably
it's
a
in
good
the back
idea.
of the car.
Well, heck, if you're gonna have two daggum smart screens and a
right?
sound system and all this fancy dancy stuff, yeah, I bet.
Sound
Yeah.
system does suck. Like
What?
the
You got all these features and the speakers suck?
yeah the worst part is the
Thanks, Chrysler.
it gets better. The worst part is that the upgraded sound system sounds worse than the base sound system. Like I watched multiple reviews on it. They use a Harman Kardon sound system that's just tuned terribly.
That's a darn shame.
Yeah, with like a 20 speaker.
I love Harman Kardon
Yeah,
stuff.
I've got a 16 speaker system. The fancy one has a 20 speaker system, and the bass is super mushy. Like your mids and your highs are okay.
You can't even play with the settings and fix it?
No.
That's disappointing.
Well, on that lithium ion fire, I guess we can finally end the podcast. So I've been your host, John, joined you today by
Nathan.
Ian.
Steven.
Steven. Where can the people find us?
They can find us at our website, hostilityinthemorning.com. But if you'd like to look in more specific places, we upload our podcast to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more specifically our Substack site. It's hostility.substack.
It's hostilityinthemorning.substack.com.
So yeah, hostilityinthemorning.substack.com. You can also find us on YouTube if you just search Hostility in the Morning. And but yeah, all that's on our website. So just go there.
Hostilityinthemorning.com.
Oh, am I supposed to say it? Have a hostile morning.